Hello, welcome to my channel. I am the work wife. My name is Rachel, and today's video is going to be about imposter syndrome, what it is and how to deal with it. But before I jump in, I have nearly 20 years of corporate work experience dealing with toxic work environments, successfully navigating my way out, around, and through those environments. So if you're dealing with a situation like that, a job like that, a coworker like that, a boss like that, I'd love to hear your story. So please email me at theworkwifellc@gmail.com or message me on Instagram or TikTok, and I'd love to hear your story. And make sure to hit that like button if you like this video and subscribe. It really helps my channel grow, and hit that notification bell for future videos. So thanks in advance. Anyway, I've taken a little bit of a break this week, to be honest. Life has been kicking my ass, so I'm not gonna lie about that. So I'm not gonna get into that too much. Maybe a future video, but right now I'm gonna talk about imposter syndrome. Before it gets too dark. I usually do videos early in the day, but it's about to be dusk, so but I felt kind of called to do this video right now because of things going on. Kind of. Anyway, so imposter syndrome. Something I've had to deal with a lot throughout my life. Usually, well, it comes from if you grew up with the idea that you had to be perfect. I hesitate to call myself a perfectionist, although some people have called me that. I don't see myself as that way, but maybe in some respects I am. I know that I am a master procrastinator. And I know that has to do with a sense of perfectionism, that if you can't get it perfect, you don't even try. Like you have a vision of how you want it in your head, and then you envision all the steps that would need to take place in order to make that thing perfect, and you know that you can't, or you think that you can't do it in the time that you want to do it. So you have all these rules for yourself in terms of making it perfect, and you can't, so then you procrastinate and you're just like, F it. So I'll deal with it later because it's not going to be the way I want it, you know. So maybe I have that. But we're not talking about procrastination. I already talked about that in another video, I think. But imposter syndrome has to do with you've built yourself up, or other people have a lot of expectations of you, and you feel like a fraud. And it's disturbing because you feel like you can't be authentic and trust yourself. That you have to live up to every person's expectations. So you've almost adopted the persona of the person that you think will please everyone, or whether it's the job that you've chosen or the career that you've chosen. You've done something in order to please other people, to prove yourself to other people. And meanwhile, inside, you know you're not that person. But the problem is your authentic self, who you really are, has been lost long ago because you've been people pleasing so long. Or maybe not, you don't even want to call it people pleasing. You've just adapted to whatever your circumstances were in order to be perfect for the people that you lived with or cared for, or they were caring for you. They had expectations of you. And maybe people have praised you and said, you're doing an amazing job. You're perfect at this. You know, this job is perfect for you. You've chosen this amazing career. And inside you're like, I know I'm not this person. I know I don't even like doing this. I'm a fraud. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough for this. I don't know what I'm doing, but I've got to keep the mask going. I got to keep the mask on. I can't take the mask off, because then they'll see the real me, and the real me isn't good enough. That's what's really operating here. Because if you had a real confident sense of self and self-worth, a high sense of self-worth, and your self-concept was solid, you could approach certain jobs or careers and just say, you know what, I know that this isn't the job for me, or I know that this isn't the career for me. This is totally temporary. This is just a stepping stone. You would have a very clear attitude. Even if you knew the job wasn't for you, you'd be open about it. You'd say, look, I've been in this career for the last 5 years, but I know I knew the first week this wasn't for me, but I've just kept it going because of XYZ. It's just a stepping stone for me. I'm making connections. I'm meeting people because I already have my eyes on the prize in the future. Whatever it is, right? I'm not settling. This is just a stepping stone. A lot of times we have a secret passion for what we really want to do, but we don't think we're capable of it. So we settle into another career that's not fulfilling. That has been my path, I'll be honest. Somehow, some way, even though I am definitely a creative person, I love writing, I love music, I love photography, I love anything creative. And I found myself in an industry or a job that's very black and white, that's very binary. IT, right? It deals a lot with, especially in a business environment, logic, and this is the way it is, and it's very little flexibility. And you can say, well, innovation is creative. That's not the area that I'm involved with. I have to deal with finance and numbers and things like that. That's not my thing. Never has been. And I'm finally facing that fact. That's why I'm doing this, because this was more rewarding to me, dealing with talking to people or communicating and teaching them how to communicate with people more effectively, mentoring people in their mindset and their attitudes. That is more interesting to me. People's personalities, psychology, that's more interesting to me. Elevating yourself than numbers and finance and the bottom line and lift and shift and optimizing and streamlining and all that corporate bullshit. That's not me. Other people thrive on that, and that's perfectly fine. That's who they are. That hasn't been me for many, many years. That was never me. But because of the choices that I made, because I allowed other people to define me, because I allowed other people to say, well, you need to find this, hard charging career. You need to, get into law, or you need to get into the corporate world, and you need to do this and that to make something of yourself, because you can't make anything of yourself with an English degree. That's what I was told, because I loved reading and I loved writing and I loved literature and I loved poetry, but you can't make a living from that. So you need to do something constructive with this and get into law, which is the last thing I, as a personality, should have done. But I did it anyway, because again, I didn't feel good enough. People were telling me what you've chosen authentically to pursue isn't going to do anything for you. So you need to do this other thing. Pressure from my family, pressure from friends. People telling me I couldn't do it because maybe the implication of, well, you're a creative person, so you couldn't possibly. And then I felt, triggered by that. And I was like, screw you, I am going to do it. Can you imagine my life trajectory based on allowing other people to define me? And now I'm dealing with those consequences because I've reached a certain age coming up, and I'm just like, I'm done. I'm done. I literally can't do it anymore. I'm not exaggerating the word literally. I actually mean that. So, long-winded say that the imposter syndrome has driven my life to the point that people meet me and they think that I am that corporate person. They're just like, well, you're all reserved and snobbish and this and this and that, and you're a man-eater and all this other crap. You chew people up and spit them out for breakfast. I mean, I've heard it all. Because that's been my chosen career. I had to dress like it. I had to act like it. I had to talk the talk. All the things that I want to talk about, that I'm talking about now, 20 years ago I wanted to talk about, but I didn't have the nerve. because I was too busy worried about what other people thought of me. So now I find myself fighting the tide of people assuming things about me that simply aren't true, because I have developed this facade. I have developed this mask of talking a certain way, acting a certain way because of other people defining me and saying, well, you need to be this way if you want to be successful. Don't allow people to do this to you. Don't. If you are called to a certain profession, if you find a passion, something that you truly enjoy doing, stick with it. Don't allow anyone to tell you, well, you can't make any money at that, or you're not gonna make it. You need to do this instead. And then every choice you make is because you don't believe in yourself, because people are telling you not to believe in yourself, not to trust yourself. And years later, decades later, I have to work hard to actually trust my own judgment, because I've allowed other people to tell me so many times not to trust it. Don't trust yourself. You don't know what you're doing. When I was much younger, I believed them. So that's what imposter syndrome is, in the sense of you feel like a fraud, but meanwhile, the mask that you've developed is the fraudulent part, not the real you, not the authentic you. Don't think that the real you is anything wrong with the real you. It isn't. You've just allowed people to tell you that there's something wrong with the real you. And I know it's difficult because family may have done it. People you trust at a young age. Don't be like that. That's not going to get you anywhere, they say. And meanwhile, inside you're like, but I really enjoy this. No, it's not going to get you anywhere. You should be doing this instead. This is better suited to you. And you trust them. And you go down that path. But then years later you wonder, why am I here? Why am I doing this? I don't even like it. I'm miserable doing this. But then most people at this point give up and they say, well, I've gone this far. Might as well go until I'm retired. No. Don't waste one more minute, one more day. And I'm not saying it's easy. I've dealt with a lot of issues trying to transition my career. It's going against the tide because people say, you've done it, as I just said, you've done it this long, just keep doing it. No, but it's hard. I've been dealing with situation after situation where people are like, still telling me, you really should be going back to doing that. I'm like, I don't want to. It's almost as if life is programmed for you not to enjoy yourself. And I refuse to believe that. Believe me, sometimes I almost give in to that. I'm like, well, I guess I'm not meant to be content. I guess I'm not meant to be satisfied in this life. Maybe the next one. And I say, no, it's not over yet. So, especially if you're a young one, you're in your 20s, you're just starting out in your career, maybe you just graduated from college, or you're even early 30s, and your career is just starting, and you realize you're miserable already, but you've already built up this image in yourself, well, I have something to prove, No, you don't. You don't have anything to prove to anybody. Be true to yourself. Make yourself happy. Across the board, in every aspect of your life. Stop allowing people to, when you try to take off that mask, they're pressing it on you. Don't let them do that. It's going to be hard because you've allowed it thus far. But you can always stop. You can stop right now. Say, no, I'm not wearing that anymore. It's suffocating me. I'm going to forge my own path, even if it may cause a lot of disapproval, disappointment, people not understanding. I may have to explain myself, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, all of it. But in the end, it'll be worth it because you're going to be following your own path. No one knows you better than you, so trust you. That's what I'm trying to say. You can trust yourself. You can trust your instincts. Believe me, your instincts are telling you, ooh, this isn't right. You know how many jobs I went into because I knew, it was the thing I was supposed to, or roles that I went into, and I knew, I was like, ooh, this isn't good, but I did it anyway because of what I felt I had to prove to other people. No. So anyway, I hope this has helped. I just felt I had to share this just as a cautionary tale. If you're unhappy in what you're doing, if you're unhappy in your life, you can make a change at any time. Don't allow a job or career choice. You could have decided something yesterday, and today you say, you know what? No, not anymore. You are not obligated to continue living the way you were 5 minutes ago. Right? So if you're going through something like this, leave in the comments below. I would love to, I'm always up for further suggestions, discussion, etc. I'd love to talk to you if you're dealing with a situation like this. Till next time, stay cool, stay centered, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.